Joffrey, Renly, Robb Stark are all thieves. They'll bend the knee or I'll destroy them.
"Fuck the wildlings and their false gods," grumbled Davos Redguard to Edric Firehand as they marched at the head of the great Andalian army towards Fisher Hall, just northwest of the last half, the ancient stronghold of House Umber. Peasants had been flocking together, running south as fast as they could. They warned of a formidable host of savages heading south from the wall, a host like the north had never seen before. According to the fleeing smallfolk, the host had a great number of giants and mammoths amongst it. How the soldiers of Andalia had laughed at that. "What a load of shit," chuckled Sir Firehand. "The gods will guide us no matter what these savages throw our way." Many of them had a 7-pointed star carved into their chests or forehead, as was the way of old. "The warrior is with us," sang the soldiers as they marched north. Sir Davos, like most of the host, believed the mammoths to be nothing but a northern lie or twist of the truth. It was a common occurrence for the Northmen to speak of such silly things: giants, mammoths, skin changers. He'd even heard some speak of mysterious beings who could raise the dead and controlled the cold, bringing huge snowstorms as they pleased. But when he saw the terrifying wildling host waiting on the high hills for them, with the huge mammoths and giants casting their shadow over the rest of the host, doubt began to set in. He'd never seen anything like it, and that's when the snows came, a great storm blowing down from the north, straight into the faces of the Andalian host. All of his years living in Andalia, including several terrible winters, and he'd never experienced cold like this. It cut straight to the bone. He could see his men shivering beside him, many of their beards speckled with ice. All that could be heard was the howling northern winds, along with the distant war cries of the enemy, who had now vanished from sight behind the thick white wall of the blizzard. He prayed to the Father to give him the strength to fight, and that the warrior would guide his sword. King Ambrose had divided his army into 3 divisions and named Alan de Salzard and Edward Houghton as his commanders of the flanks. Septon Roax made a prayer to bless the army and for the warrior to strengthen all their sword hands. The most zealous of the warriors were put in the van. Led by a screaming Edric Firehand, he raised his sword into the air as his men began to pray and march into the unknown. Davos had been placed in charge of the centre, a great host of Andal pikemen, armed with great shields painted with the red 7-pointed star. His archers had been tucked in behind, with the mounted knights in reserve. The deep snows had made them almost useless. He would save them for pursuing once they'd broken the enemy. The cries were getting louder. Davos squinted to see through the snows. He could just make out the blurred sides of the enemy coming into view. "Now!" he screamed. His squire blew deep into the warhorn and the shields moved closer together in tight formation, the long pikes lowering down to peek through the gaps. His archers notched their first volley of arrows. "Draw!" he screamed, and then 7 hells! A huge host of mammoths smashed through the snowy veil as if from nowhere to crash into the wall of shields. 1 or 2 fell as the pikes hit hard and deep, yet the majority forced their way through, crushing all in their way like ants. Davos and his men were completely separated from the rest of the host for all he knew. He could see nothing through the snow. Suddenly what seemed to be a huge tree stump or branch of some kind came swinging towards him. He stumbled back just in time to evade it. A huge shaggy creature screamed at him in a coarse, deep growl, once again swinging the poorly made club. Davos stepped aside and slashed his sword at the beast to no real success. The giant bled yet did not weaken, it only grew angrier. It grabbed for a nearby pikeman and lifted him in the air. He ripped the man's leg from his torso like plucking a flower from the ground. The man's screams were nightmarish. Another pikeman shoved his pike deep into the beast's back. It screamed, turned and smashed the man with its club, crushing him as easy as squashing a bug. This was Davos's chance. He grabbed for a disposed pike and charged the giant, screaming. The pike bit deep and hard into the back of the beast's leg, just below its knee. It fell forward as another man pierced a pike in its side. Davos charged the great creature and drove his sword deep into the side of its head, so hard that he struggled to retrieve it. The mammoth charge and the sight of the giant seemed to have broken Davos's men, until they seen the dead giant laying beneath Davos, the great pike in its back flying the sigil of House Sevenstar. "A sign from the gods!" he screamed. "The 7 are with us! Anger is with us!" Hearing the name of their late king gave hope back to his men, who then regrouped and charged at the wildlings. If they stayed disciplined, these savages would be no match. A wildling shouting something in a foreign tongue charged at Davos. He grinned, raised his sword and cut the wildling in half. After avoiding his strikes, he then cut off his head, raised it in the sky and shouted, "Ambrose! For Ambrose, our king!" The men cheered whilst the wildling started to turn tail and flee. Now it was time to send in the Andal cavalry to run down and kill every single wildling they could. There was no room for mercy for these heathens from beyond the wall, who would surely lack it for them. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Citadel with me, Grand Maester Stitch, where we return to the Knights of the North as King Ambrose of Andalia, who is now 30, so we're well into his reign now. He's been reigning for quite some time. He's now got the older portrait, as he is now an older man. And in the last episode, as we just found out in the introduction, we obviously went to war with the wildlings and King Mikkon the Hunter of Beyond the Wall as they try to invade the north. And either way, it doesn't matter really who our northern neighbour is, but that would have been a much more powerful neighbour to the north and a bigger threat as well, the wildlings. They had a lot more men than the Starks, and they're also a lot more savage, obviously, than the Starks. So it was in our best interest and in the best interest of Andalia to intervene and stop the wildlings from taking the rest of the north. It would have made it harder for us to expand Andalia, so we had to get involved there. But thankfully, yes, that has been resolved for now. I'm sure it won't be the last time they try and invade the north. But the Starks have still got a little bit of trouble. They are still currently at war with... Okay, so they're still defending against the wildlings. That war isn't over, but they should be able to win that now that we've smashed the wildlings back. And they're also defending against a host of an Andal invasion, but they are winning that quite heavily. There was only 3,700 men by the looks of it in Jorin's host, whoever Jorin is, so hopefully the Starks can push that back. We are still waiting for our claim so that we can expand into the Barrowlands. We do now have a claim on Barrowton, and we do have a claim on Spearmouth, but we're just waiting for this claim on the Thiever. Our Master of Laws at Max Richards is there busily trying to get a claim on that so that we can go for the whole High Lordship of the Barrowlands and claim all of it in one swoop and finally land some of our very loyal knights who have served Enger before us and now Ambrose for many years and been great servants, great lords, great loyal knights, and they deserve to be raised to lordship. So hopefully soon we will be able to do that. We've just got to wait a little bit longer. Of it, in case people missed it in the last episode, somehow Dawn has expanded into the Reach and are now very powerful. It's a very big threat down there. Hopefully the Reach will get independence back. There's a lot of old god worshippers still in the Reach, so hopefully something does crack down there, because that is a bit of a worry. But obviously it also happened with the Mountain Vale when they expanded and took all the Riverlands, but that didn't last too long and eventually split in half with the religious differences there. So hopefully the same will happen. But I have just noticed that the Blackwater is now starting to build its own kingdom. We have Wallard, whoever House Wallard is, or they're an old god house still, and they've created the High Lordship of Blackwater Bay. So we've got a new lordship starting to creep in there. That's good. It's interesting. I would like some more smaller kingdoms to pop up like Andalia, just to change the lore and the history and the timeline for our series. So we do have a couple of new custom characters, as well as after the war some wildling prisoners that we captured who have been transferred to our court. They're prisoners and courtiers who we might be able to do something with, try and learn a bit more about the wildlings and the old gods. Obviously, Ambrose is erudite, so he's not really bothered about the religious differences. Courts and prisoners, maybe they can be useful. Right, so let's have a look at our new custom characters. I know I've still got a huge backlist of all your guys' custom characters. I'll try and get to as many of them as soon as possible. I'm adding 1 to an episode, as I said, not to overwhelm us with custom characters. The series is going to last for a hell of a long time, so they will all get in eventually. But yeah, 1 or 2 at a time, not to overwhelm the court. We don't want too much going on. There's already enough going on in the lore, which can be quite hard to follow for some. So Timo Harko is obviously the custom character last time. I've created 2 of my own custom characters for this one, just a couple of wildling ones. But before we get to them, we'll get to the new custom characters that were made by German. I'm sure it was German. I always get mixed up. I do apologise if not, but they are the Brightmere or Brightmire siblings. So we have Robin Brightmire here. These have been born in Sevensport. They were homeless and orphans as a child, but they've been brought into the court as they're both pretty good with certain things. Robin is a very good steward, and he's the older one of the siblings. He is a skilled steward. He's shrewd, an architect, administrator, gardener, chaste, temperate, craven, shy, and patient. Very good stewardship, so he'll probably come in handy at some point if he's not as our steward, as we've got Estion, who's very good at that, but he could always be the steward or high steward for one of the high lordships in Andalia, as when we do take Barrington, we'll have 3 high lordships. We'll have the Sevensport, Warrior's Way, and then the Barrington one. So he could easily get a job in one of those places. And then his sibling, his sister, Sarah Brightmere, Sarah, and she is pretty good in intrigue. She's the younger of the two. We do need to find her a marriage. She's got a nasty burn from when they were children, as you can see, and she is an inquisitive, a web weaver, attractive, she's burnt, she's groomed, shrewd, a socializer, envious, cynical, and paranoid, but fairly decent traits, 7s all round, and then decent intrigue, so I'm sure she will also come in good use at some point. So that is the 2 custom characters from you guys, and then I just added 2 little wildlings. I thought, considering we smashed that huge wildling host, we were bound to take some prisoners and some hostages, so I just added a couple to come into our court, and the first one is Eric Crowsbane. Very nice long red beard. We know how the wildlings love their people with red hair touched by fire. They see it as lucky, but yeah, I have arranged a marriage for him so he doesn't die. A nice white stag on the black background, the famous white stag that you try and hunt. I thought that'd be interesting, as he is a hunter. He's a charismatic negotiator, a trained fighter, a wildling, obviously a hunter, honest, zealous, authoritative, arbitrary, and stubborn. Nothing too impressive. I just wanted to add some normal courtiers of different backgrounds to the court. So yeah, 14 diplomacy, not too bad, but yeah, just to get some wildlings in there now that we have attacked the wildlings. And then there should be one more who I went for. I went for like a little bit of a woods witch type of character. Get a healer in and around the court with some different approaches to what obviously the maesters do. Some very old god approaches, which I'm sure the Andals will be furious with. I'm sure Edric Firehand won't be too happy, but here she is, Thistle Hardhunter. She's already married to Hurrit, some random wildling, but yep, she's an expert scientist, a wildling shrewd, a renowned physician, a poor fighter, mystic, a hunter, zealous, diligent, shy, rude, and content. Decent learning and decent martial, but yeah, I like a woods witch, like I said, a bit of a Val type character. She did have nice long blonde hair like Val, but now she has a hood on for some reason, but yes. And then we have a couple of wildling prisoners who have just been added to the court. I just grabbed a couple. We've got this guy, Stilner, whoever he is, got decent diplomacy. Hurrit, who's obviously married to Thistle, who we just seen. And then we have Red Mammoth. I just added him because I thought his name looked pretty cool, but there's nothing really special about him. And he is a Frozen Shore wildling. And then we have Jane Riverblood, who is an Ice Riverman. Just added a little... yeah, like I said, I added a couple of wildlings to the court as prisoners and hostages with different backgrounds. So, yeah, that's pretty much everything new. So we'll let things tick along a little bit. We're just waiting for that claim on the fever so that we can finally expand. It's been a long time since Andalia expanded, and we desperately need to expand. We've not actually expanded in Ambrose's reign yet, have we? So we do need to do that. He has been in charge 10 years. He's going to be feeling the pressure now from his High Lords. May live in harmony and contentment. I accept the suggestion that Eric and Ingrid get married. So there we go. He's married now, so hopefully he won't die. As obviously we've seen in the last episode, people do die if you don't marry them off. And then we got Robin, a marriage to Laura, who's just an Andal. And we do need to get one for his sister, but I didn't want her to lose her name. But because I've added a father, hopefully they won't die. They've just got a random father from somewhere around here. No one of importance, as they aren't highborn yet, but they will be landed, and then they will be highborn. Just waiting for that claim on the fever. It could take ages. I hope it doesn't. Is there any nice decisions that we could do whilst we wait for that to happen? Could hold a feast to celebrate, or we could go on a grand hunt to celebrate. That could be interesting. We've not really done that, have we? So let's go on a grand hunt. Let's go hunting to celebrate. I have given the order for a grand hunt to be organised in Sevensport. We are waiting for a little bit more money. We've almost got enough money that we can build a new holding. I think we would yeah, we're literally like 30 coins short, and I think I decided it's going to be a new castle in and around Sevensport. We've got enough trade as it is already. King Ambrose Sevenstar, I hereby invite you to participate in the tourney of Sevensguard, where the best knights and lords of the north shall be invited to compete. All right, he's inviting everyone. A massive corner. Yes, of course I will take part then. A chance to prove my worth. Not that we'll win. We all know he'll probably win. Robin has arrived at your court. Okay. Okay, some random Northmen has arrived at our court. Interesting. We do need some more Northmen. If you do create characters, remember they get included when they feel right to the story. But we could do with some Northmen, just some normal firstmen, not like great warriors or anything like that. We've got plenty of great warriors. Just some everyday Northmen of houses or new Northmen houses, like firstmen who worship the seven, who could get land and that sort of thing. As we only do have one firstman who worships the seven in our kingdom so far. Okay, so that's new people in our court. The hounds were the hounds were more alert this morning than ever seen before. Something stupendous must be awaiting for us. What are we waiting for? Let's go. Gain 5 prestige, but we could gain wounded. I think my horse has a limp. Gain the trait Craven. 25. I don't care what it is. We'll hunt it. 25% hounds. Bring down a child or a child of a peasant. Well, we don't want that. What are we waiting for? Let's go. Let's go hunting. Not Bolton styled hunting. We don't want none of that craziness. But yeah, hopefully we'll get the money soon that we can build a new castle. A white hart has been seen. A white hart. A white hart has been seen in the north of Sevenstar. I am told it is a heart of. It is a heart of 10 and the biggest deer ever seen. I find no joy in killing such a proud animal. We gain some piety, but then Oswin's opinion changes of us for some reason. I don't know why his. Oh, he's disappointed. I will send out our best hunter. Or this is my kill. 75% of chance of no effect. We could gain 1 marshal. Could get wounded. We could get maimed. And severely injured. Ooh. I told it's the heart of 10 and the biggest deer ever seen. Do we hunt it or not? Well, we are a hunter, so yeah, this is my kill. I've been injured badly. I've gained the wounded trait. I knew that was going to happen. 5%, and it's always the freaking case. It's so annoying. Oh, I accidentally clicked on her. Due to my inability to join the chase in the hunt, the Sevensport hunt has been cancelled. I will join next time. Almost got enough money now, so that we can finally do that upgrade. I'll wait till we've got a little bit extra though first. I'm probably not going to be able to compete in this tourney now, am I? After arriving in Sevensguard, the first day of the tourney began in earnest. You tilted against many lesser knights throughout the day, most of whom you unhorsed easily. Now in the coming days, the final rounds of the list begins, and the opponents shall surely be fierce. Yeah, can we place a bet? Place a bet on the tourney. Find a bookmaker. I will make a large bet of 40 gold, and I know. Okay, we've just had a load of wildlings arrive in court for whatever reason. Not sure why, but okay, awesome. Awesome that we got a few more added. Makes it more realistic. The Tourney Herald announces the competitor of the next joust. You have been drawn against Oswin Steelheart. You mount your charge and take a lance from your squire and ride to the end of the list as Oswin does likewise. Then on cue, the horses break into a gallop. Steady. Your opponent got the better of you when you met in the centre of the list. Your lance merely makes a glancing blow on their armour while their lance hits true. So we're going to be out straight away as usual. Oswin Steelheart lance strikes you square in the middle of your breastplate, exploding into many pieces. It hits. The force knocks the wind out of you and sends you flying from your horse. You are left lying in the dirt, defeated as the crowd cheers Oswin. He is a bit of a great knight, isn't he, to be fair? It's about time he had a child. He's been around for some time now. Oswin Steelheart has been declared the winner. I wonder if Edric Firehand will win yet again. He has won the last few tourneys that he's entered. I wonder if Rogar Rag will enter at the age of, like, he must be about 74, 75 now, but he still keeps entering tourneys. Lord Roland Borrell and Prince Owen Sevenstar were the next to joust in the list. After many tilts and breaking lances, Prince Owen was unhorsed, leaving Lord Roland to be declared the winner. Lord Roland of Sweet Sister, okay. He fought well. After many tilts over several days, only 2 knights remained undefeated. Edric Firehand and Lord Roland Borrell faced each other in the final joust. After many tilts of finally executed jousting, Lord Roland was unhorsed, leaving Edric Firehand to be declared the winner of the tourney. Another win for him. Is that 2 regional wins as well, which is very impressive, yes. Still not had a son, only his daughter. Oh, she's married. Matrimonial marriage to Luke Grindle, whoever he is. So he's actually had the brains to do that, unlike flipping Albert Morgoth, the bloody idiot, who decided to marry both of his daughters off. Not like that, so House Morgoth could end up dying out because of that idiot. But his wife, our oldest sister, is pregnant, 42. That's an old age, but hopefully he's got that last chance to have a son. Third time looker, who knows? I really hope so, as I don't want any of the great houses to die out. We've already had enough die out. Obviously, the green stars have nearly died out. The black stars died out. 20th Sevensguard is over. It was a fine competition. A castle holding has finished construction in Deepwood. Okay. Where's Deepwood? That's not even in our land, is it? So why does that even concern us? Sir Davos Sevensguard decided to exile Maester Krigeric. Okay. Oh, he's a Black Brother Maester. Obviously, when the wall fell down, he must have gone into his kingdom. Okay, we've got an idle council member. Oh, it's our spy. Yeah, there's not really a lot we can do at the moment, so we'll leave that as it is for now. Who the hell are you? Jalarulu, so he's going to be a Summer Islander, has arrived at our court. Why and how? Why are these random people joined? Why have we now got a Summer Islander? It's bad enough we had Jogus Nye. I don't know which is worse. Disinherited. Okay, so he's an exile. Okay, that might make a bit of sense. You come to the biggest trade port in Westeros, really. Well, it's not the biggest. We're about one of the biggest cities. We're still behind Old Town, I'd imagine, and Lannisport, but can't be far off. Fair enough, an exile. Is there much else we can do intrigue-wise? Not decision-wise. Your Grace, for too long, Jalabar looks us has occupied my rightful seat, and I will stop at nothing to take it from him. I humbly ask that you provide me with coin, so that I may hire an army to achieve this. If you do, I promise it will not be forgotten. I'll give you coin, 125 gold. His opinion changes. Well, we could get something good from this. Why not? Let's take a little gamble. We've got plenty of money. Oh, there's no rush for our castle to be built. We'll do that and we'll see what happens, eh? Let's see what happens. Could let's hold us. Oh, we can't hold a summer fair. Is it not current? I think we're still in winter, isn't we? Yeah, aren't we? How long is it going to take to get this bloody claim on the fever? Tell you what, whilst we wait for that claim, I'll forward things along to get it. And we'll do the mid-POV now. And for the mid-POV, we're going to be heading back to the Hornwood, which we have a few times because, obviously, if you watched till the end of the last episode, we found out that poor Estian Rack, the poor sod, his wife, Elena Shycross, has been having an affair with Max Richards. And because of that, she fathered a bastard Lollis Snow. And obviously, things haven't gone down well there. So let's go see what's been kicking off there. And I just realised, is that one of our squires has gained poor fighter. Was it Ellery Flake? I think it was Ellery Flake, wasn't it? Or was it Owen Greystar? Yes, Ellery Flake. But yeah, we'll go and see what's been happening with where is she? Elena Shycross is obviously, she had okay. She had a lover, Max Richards, and now she's gained a new lover, Oswin Steelheart. Wow. So that's changed things for the mid-POV slightly, but yeah, we'll start the mid-POV here about her and her lovers now. The screaming match in Valyrian had been going on for an hour when the Hand was summoned to his son's chambers. Roger had only learned bits and pieces over the years being around Elena and Damien, so he couldn't really understand what was being said, but by the tone alone he knew it was a serious problem. Things had been tense with the recent surprise birth. It seemed things had finally come to a head. Estienne stormed out with a look of hurt and anger he'd never seen on his son before. Rogar sat him down, poured him a goblet of wine, and they talked. Estienne told him that Elena had confessed to an affair with the Master of Laws, Max Richards, and that the girl Lollis she had given birth to was his child. She'd begged for his forgiveness. Estienne told his father that he had slapped her in his rage, but that he now hated himself the most for still loving her, his deceitful wife. Then he looked at his father with tears in his eyes before storming out to take a husband's right of vengeance against Lord Richards. "Ah, Estienne," Max said cheerfully. "How may I help you?" Estienne looked up at him with a cold stare. "That's the problem, Lord Richards. It seems you've already helped yourself to something that is mine. Then, with a quickness none could have imagined Estienne possessed, he struck Max in the face with his gauntleted fist. There was a sickening crunch, followed by a sound of teeth flying out and splattering on the ground. Then Estienne went into a rage and rained down blow after blow. It finally ended with Estienne repeatedly stomping Lord Richard upon his groin. When men pulled him off and sat Lord Richard up, he was a mess. His left ear was half torn off, and his left cheek laid upon to the bone. Estienne pointed at him and yelled, "If you ever touch, or look at, or even so much as mention my wife in passing, I will cut off your balls and stuff them down your fucking throat." With a measure of satisfaction gained, Estienne walked away. Rogar sat with Elena while she waited to talk with his wife, Lady Rack. Eleanor was terrified of her. She looked at Rogar and asked, "Father, is she going to kill me?" Rogar looked at her with genuine compassion. "Oh, daughter, you have made a bad mistake, but no, she won't kill you." He paused and gave her a small hug around her shoulder, trying to hide his disgust. This was still the mother of his grandchild, Joa. "She will yell at you, she will shame and threaten you, but no, she will not harm you." Eleanor looked up at him. "How can you be sure, father?" He chuckled a little and wiped away her tear. "Because Estienne still loves you. He's just mad and humiliated right now and hurt. My lady wife intends that you never do this again, but you will not be harmed." Eleanor relaxed a little, but Rogar could still sense her tremendous dread, especially when summoned to Gretchel's chambers. Gretchel was furious with Eleanor and wanted nothing more than to cut her into small pieces and send them to her brother. She had brought shame upon House Rack with this affair. When she finally entered the chambers, she could taste Eleanor's fear. The girl would not even look at her. "Well, Eleanor, it seems your nature has caused you to forget your place," Gretchel spat out at her. "After all this house has given you, and you repay our kindness with betrayal. Explain yourself." Eleanor started to cry, but Gretchel stopped her. "Dry your tears, dear. I am neither Estienne nor my husband. I am a woman just like you. Those tears won't work on me." Eleanor stopped her sniffing. "I was weak, my lady. I am sometimes a slave to my baser urges," Eleanor offered. "My dear, you have Estienne's undying affection, as well as Lady Magella's and a few handmaidens from what I'm told. If you can't control your urges, especially when it comes to men, I can, and will, have you fitted for a chastity belt." Gretchel countered. Eleanor looked shocked. "My lady!" Gretchel raised her hand. "Stop, my dear. I don't care who or how many women you trifle with, because they can't get you pregnant. But you will not ever have another man touch you, or I will do worse than kill you, if you ever bring shame upon this house again." "What about my daughter?" Eleanor asked meekly. "I haven't decided that yet. Rest assured she will not be raised a Rack, and you are on thin ice, my dear. If the time comes it should crack, you will find me on the other side. Now get out of my sight." Okay, so that was the mid POV. I did forward things along about a year. We've still not got the bloody claim, but I hope you enjoy the mid POV. I know a lot of you do enjoy those sort of things, and obviously shit went down there. But now we've just had this pop up. "There are many legends about the great man whose blood I share. A particular story has been circulating at court lately. It focuses on an epic feat where Engar proves his strength of character. The more I hear, the more I wish to emulate Engar, our father, obviously. I will strive to be more like him. We gain the zealous trait and gets emulating a legend. Vassal opinions improved, but we're not a zealous person. No, I make my own fate. Ambrose will make his own fate. He's not zealous. He's not a racist, religious nut job like his father was. But yeah, we've still not got that claim on the fever. So I'm going to have to forward things along a little bit more. But I just wanted to obviously show you that little thing that popped up. "Your Grace, your nephew Ellery is responding very well to my tuition. He has improved his skills and is advancing his knowledge every day. Ellery Flake, he's now temperate." Awesome, that's a decent trait to have. His stewardship's gone up and people have a good opinion of him. His marshal's still doing well. Hopefully he'll become a better fighter soon. And he has a rival already, Bryndon Rosby, our uncle. Okay. Bit of an age gap between them for them to have a rivalry. But fair enough. It's good news though. It's good news that he's getting better. "News of unrest in Sweet Sister. The steward of Sweet Sister has been trying to squeeze some extra taxes out of the population. The peasants have been resisting and are now arming themselves." How are things doing in the Vale while we wait? "A young artist is working on a divine icon of the Maiden, the aspect of the Seven representing innocence and chastity. He needs sponsorship to finish it so we can place it in our own sept." Yes, of course we will pay the money. Considering our wife is meant to be the Maiden Reborn, we will pay 22 gold to make sure that that is finished. Gain us some piety as well. Yep, still Queen Rowena, and Cleos Hunter is our heir. He's the heir to the Vale, so it's going to pass over to the Hunters at this race. I'm going to forward a little bit more until we get that claim, because there's not much we can do until we get that claim. That is the next thing that we want to do. Lionel is such a caring brother, always ready to lighten up the mood during a somber family dinner or play with the children. Even though we may disagree from time to time, I cannot deny his accomplishments as a brother. People like him are rare indeed. Our opinion changes by 15. Awesome. A son was born to Sir Estian Rack and Elena Shycross, named Samwile. Awesome. So, Samwile Rack, and he's actually Estian's, which is good. It's an extra child, and he's got Valyrian features, which is interesting. A Rack with Valyrian features, an Andal with Valyrian features, and one diplomacy as he is attractive, but cool. That's pretty cool. Obviously, he's not the heir to the Hornwood, which is good. Don't really want a Valyrian heir to that, but awesome. And at the age of 70, Lord Wilbert of Whitford died of severe stress. Well, he did well to last as long as he did. Well played, Lord Wilbert. And now your heir, Lord Manfred of Whitford, is the new lord, and he's pretty impressive. Skilled fighter, knight, hunter, arbitrary, content, stubborn, paranoid, and kind. And he's got 2 sons of his own, so the Josso line is very, very secure. As he also has 3 brothers who have all got their own children. So House Josso, they're not going anywhere anytime soon. And at 70, so how old is Lord Rhaegar now, who's still going? 73. Well done, Lord Rhaegar. His combat ability has dropped massively because of his old age, minus 55. That was always going to happen. 73, but he's still got very good combat skill. Very impressive. I could hear someone sneaking around inside and believed it to be a burglar. When I went downstairs, I discovered Ellery opening one of my letters. He could use some practice reading. Lose 30 prestige. But we do finally have our claim now on the fever. It only took like 3-4 years to get, but we finally got it. Your Septon Heroics branch reports that Master Edric of Hardmead has been humbled by your endless generosities to the poor. In Sevenstar, the peasants are singing your name. A job well done. But, yep, we finally got that. So, it's time to declare war on King Rob of the North. We can claim Barrington, Effering, Fever, Overton, Spearmouth. Claim Greywater Watch for Lord Bowen of Silverreed, but we won't do that because we don't want to wipe out the reeds. We will press all claims and try and get all the lands that we are currently after, which is Effering, Spearmouth, Barrington, and Fever, and Overton. So press all claims, send. There we go. We're finally going to expand our lands, and more than I thought as well, because I forgot about the Bolton claims that we do have. So at least we're going to gain quite a bit of land because of that. Where is that mud army going? Who are the Muds at our war with? Because that's a huge army coming up the causeway. I really wish that you could block them off. They shouldn't be allowed to just march into the north. They've got a strong claim on the Kingdom of the North, but they're defending against King Mickon the Hunter in Mickon's invasion of the North. Ah, yes, they have an alliance, don't they? As his wife is a... Oh, no, his wife's a Bracken. But there is a link somewhere, isn't there, with the Starks, if I remember correctly. They definitely have a link with... The Muds and Starks definitely have a link. Is the Stark king, is his wife a Mud? No, his wife's a Crakecool. I remember there definitely being a Mud... There's definitely some sort of alliance between them, some marriage pact, but has he not won that war yet then against the Wildlings? He is winning, and he's still fighting the Andals as well, which is taking a long time, and now us as well. So hopefully, because of that, he'll leave us to do our own thing. Right, all of you guys, not really a lot of men there, but we'll bring you over anyway. Every man helps. Let's get you all on the fleet and get you into Sevensport. We'll get everyone in Sevensport, and then we'll start claiming the lands that we want so that we can finally expand. We have command happen to us. I'm not sure I want us in command yet. We'll have Edward Hooton, and we'll have Alan de Salzard on one flank. And yeah, let's go with Davos Redguard. 3 very good commanders. We'll have those lead the armies for now. Right, have the ships come over? Yes, they have. We can disband the other ships now. We don't need the ships now. Disband. I'm looking forward to finally landing more of our men who are desperately needing to be landed. Oh, your sister, Princess Jenny Sevenstar, has died, and now it falls to you to decide whether to make the funeral a big and special event or just keep it a small and private one. Died under suspicious circumstances. Well, obviously our sister deserves to be honoured with a funeral. All the court of Sevensport, my vassals and court. Just the Sevenstar family. We'll keep it a small, private one. She wasn't a massively important member of the family. She only had one child. A daughter was born to Eric Crowbane and Ingrid named Warrior Maid. Oh no, Ingrid Warrior Maid named Eva Crowbane. Okay, interesting. Lord Danes of Maiden's Gate decided to exile Garth de Gore. Andal Northman. Oh, he's a black brother, okay. Another black brother who's been sent away. Has Albert had his other child yet? No, which is annoying. I don't know how she's not had that child yet. But yeah, let's gather our forces together so that we can march out westward finally. The invitation has been sent to the lords and ladies of the realm to come to the funeral. It is time to prepare the feast and the funeral itself. The guests will arrive soon. Best get on with it. Yes, we best. Disband these 32 ships that we've not got around to doing yet. Brandon is currently under my control and his relative King Robstar is currently opposing us. We can rightfully execute or imprison him as warning to our enemies. Bring me his head! No, not really. It's not his fault. He's like our best friend. We're not going to do anything about that. The best part about preparing a feast is deciding what food to serve. I'll spend lavishly 20 gold. We've got plenty of money, so it's not that lavishly, is it? Our sister at least deserves that. If it was Lady Roslyn, she'd probably get a better funeral. She is the Lady of the Warrior's Watch, after all. Taking a long time to gather our forces. Oh, and I completely forgot. We need to get you now to fabricate a new claim. I suppose it's the Dreadfort then. That's the next logical place to fabricate a claim on. Now that will be interesting when we go for the Dreadfort. My bodyguard, Alan de Salazar, has expressed a desire to get married and has asked for my permission to find a suitable spouse, age 63. Bloody hell. Oh yeah, because he was married to our wife, or our sister, not our wife. He's already got 2 children, but marry as you please, good sir. Marry as you please. Your Grace, Tony Lannister has been defeated. I don't really care what's going on in the Rock. Let's just get our host together quickly. Jorin accepted King Rob of the North's peace offer. Okay, so he's finally ended the Andal invasion, which means he's going to have more time to concentrate on us now. Hopefully the Muds don't get involved. The Riverlands do have a big army, but it is a first-man kingdom, so there's a good chance they could get involved against us, but hopefully not. All the guests have arrived in Sevenstar, and it is now time to start feasting to celebrate the life of Janny Sevenstar. Let the feasting commence. Right, let's march over to Whitford. Get the army together. We've got 14,000 men here now. We have got a great host. Not as strong as it could be, obviously, because we lost a fair few men in winter fighting up north against the wildlings. But let's march on to Spearmouth and get that under siege first. Our money's sort of standing still at the moment as we're at war, and obviously we're back to that Summer Islander. The funeral. As the Silent Sisters finish the preparations of the deceased, the body of Janny is brought to the local sept and laid atop the altar. At its centre, canopic jars of ornate design are placed at the feet of the dead, and the eldest child places the death stones upon the closed eyes of the deceased. So that would be Ellery Flay, because he's our only child, I think, isn't he? One by one, those closest to the departed in life make their way into the sept and speak their goodbyes, shed their mournful tears and pray to the Seven for the dead, and the day winds down and the last goodbye is said. The body is carried by kin along the crowd-lined streets to its final resting place. As the sun fades away, a great feast is held, and those who know the dead recount stories and the lives and deeds of the lost. And so it is done, and we gain a nice 40 piety for that, which is awesome. Storm King Durin the Evil has used out the title Castle of Oakenfield. Okay. Doesn't really concern us, but okay. Rourke's branch has been a leal and able servant, having successfully completed many tasks in the aid of Andalia. It is seen as a right and honourable course to reward him with certain incomes and grants. As to foster greater loyalty, I owe him nothing. Agreed. I will honour him with a 7-star heirloom. No, I don't think we'll do that. We'll give him a reward. 666, number of the beast now for our gold, because we just gave the Septon a nice chunk of money. He has been a good Septon though, hasn't he? He coronated hers, he performed our wedding. So yeah, he's done a lot for us, to be fair. We'll have Edward leaving this host. Come on, get the other 1,000 men over here. You know what, we'll attempt an assault on that, because that is a very easy assault, Spearmouth. Not very well defended at all. Get our men together, and it will give us a better foothold for when we march. I think we'll do the Fever next, and then Barraton. And then we'll try and probably... Where else have we got? We're going to go over to the Bolton lands, haven't we, after that? The Starks and Woods look to be occupied with the wildlings at present, so that's good. We can pretty much have free reign of expanding. I think once we take these lands, we've got a good chunk of the north. William of Galloway's host has declared a William of Galloway's host invasion of Crow's Edge on King Rob of the North. Okay, so another random Andor, he's nothing to do with us or our realm, is he? No, but there's nothing special about him, but he has got 9,000 men. Crow's Edge, where's Crow's Edge? Is that over on the eastern shore? I think it is, isn't it? Seal Shore. Crow's Edge, oh no, it's the mountain clans. Interesting. House Wall, well I don't want them to win, because I like House Wall. I don't want House Wall to get wiped out. But if it happens, it happens. Like, it looks like the Arryns are getting wiped out, and I love the Arryns, but... Right. What's going on down south, actually? Dawn haven't expanded even more, have they, whilst we've been occupied? No, thankfully, but they are at war. Who's Dawn at war with? Are they still at war with the Iron Islands? Defending against Alistair the Wicked and Alistair's conquest of the Torrentine. Defending against Lord Master Koss of Byloff in Slave Raid. And attacking High King Todrick of the Iron Isles in a blood feud. That's alright, as long as they're not expanding anymore. We definitely don't want that. Definitely don't want that kingdom getting any stronger. Tinessa died of drinking too much. I don't even know who she is. She's under Lord Josso, so I don't really know why that concerns me at all. We'll just assault this. It's an easy siege to win. There's only one province. Let's march on to Barrington. Try and get this war over before the Starks beat the Wildlings else. I know they've not got a lot of men, they've got about 10,000, but with the Riverland army as well, if they decide to get involved, they'd have more men than us, so we want to finish this quick. Your Grace, I am deeply hesitant to ask, but the coffers of your loyal subjects are running dry from the upkeep of the levies you have raised from our lands. Any recompense for the cost of my liege wars would be great comfort. We'll give them gold. We are losing a fair bit of gold, but we're going to gain a hell of a lot of gold from this new land, so it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. Barrington, great province to have, and the Dustins aren't around, which is really annoying because I do like House Dustin. It's annoying that they've vanished. They always tend to vanish on every playthrough that I do. Here we go. They've got more defenders here in Barrington. Right. We're a rebel. We're not a rebel leader. It really annoys me how it comes up with that because we're fighting against the Stark. Okay, Lord Damon of Longsister. We've got a new Longthorpe in Longsister as his father has died. Has he got family members? Yeah, he's got a son. Probably got grandson. Oh no, he's not got grandsons. Okay. Fair enough, but if they die out, it's not a massive family, is it? And we can reward one of our new lords with one of the sisters, maybe, if that were to happen. Okay, there's 8,000 Starks marking chin on Andalia, which is worrying. Queen Rowena of Mountain Vale has inherited the Lordship of Heartsholme and other titles from Lord Dano of Heartsholme. House Grafton. Okay, so they've died out by the looks of it. Right, yeah, that Stark host is marching on to Andalia. Does that mean that they've defeated the Wildlings? No. Why are you trying to... You are winning that. Maybe the Muds are doing that. Right. Let's attempt an assault and then we need to march over to home in a moment. Quick letter. Son was born to Robin Brightmere and Laura named Euston Brightmere. And he's a dwarf. We have our first dwarf in court. That's awesome. And I don't know why I got so excited about that. Probably got more excited than I should have done. But you never really get dwarfs in court. We have our first dwarf in Andalia. Awesome. Okay, they're marching away now. Lord Colmer of Oldcastle has formed an alliance with Lord Rogar, the Priest Hater. Interesting. Them two probably would get on pretty well, to be fair. Two great houses. And that is a strong alliance, obviously, because Lord Colmer has the biggest army in a single lordship. And then, obviously, Lord Rogar Rack has the high lordship of the Warriors Watcher. That is a good alliance if they ever were to fall out with us. Margella is no longer Maester for King Ambrose. Died of pneumonia. Oh shit, so our brother Lionel now has no wife. Obviously he's gay anyway, but we do want the line to carry on. Freya Sevenstar, how's she getting on? Curious. Nothing overly impressive, but not overly bad either. Where is that mud host going to? Have they... They've not joined in, have they, in the... war again? No, they haven't. So hopefully they're just marching off elsewhere. There we go. We're getting the siege of that. Wow, 21. Hopefully they're not going to stay together. My young courtier has finished his education in the ways of court and statesmanship. It seems he has learned all the basic skills required. Perwyn Silvereye. Poor fighter, gruff diplomat, paranoid, craven, ambitious, and charitable. Okay, awesome. And he's... Okay, so he was actually Lord Osmond's son. So he's the sibling of Angai and Kristen II. Very good. Right. I'm a little bit worried about those armies. I hope they're not joining together. Looks like they might. Where is that mud army going? That's a little bit worrying. We could hire mercenaries if needed. Your reports from Sevenstar. Someone reports from Sevenstar that his charity work on your behalf is proceeding well. The poor have been fed and your pious standing has improved. Awesome. Always looking after the poor and the small folk. Ambrose is a very caring person like that. Let's attempt to assault. Very worried about that 20,000 men. Where the hell are they off to? Are they staying together? A little bit worried. A little bit worried indeed. Let's let that mud host disappear. Now we'll march on to Spearmouth, where we will have a penalty, but it's only going to be against 8,000 Northmen, so we should smash them easy. We've got great commanders. Could we get better? No, we don't really want anyone other than Edward. Edward is an absolute beast of a commander. Oh, I'm a little bit worried. Your Grace, I'm deeply hesitant to ask, but the coffers of your loyal subjects are running dry from the upkeep of the levies. Yep, we'll give you some... Oh, 20 gold. That's not a lot. That's okay. Right, we're going to smash that army with that. Oh, shit, that mud host has actually got involved. My liege, my work in the Dreadfort seems to have come to fruition. By bribing, cajoling, extorting, threatening, and forging documents, I have managed to fabricate a claim on the High Lordship of the Dreadfort. Presently held by Lord Benefit II of the Dreadfort. Use it. Awesome, we now have a claim on that. That didn't take very long at all, really. So now we'll fabricate a claim on White Point to finish off the Bolton High Lordship lands. We are losing this battle. Or are we going to pull it back? No, we're not going to pull it back. Oh, shit. That is a... Because of the Riverlands have got involved. Yeah, all our men are retreating. The Boltons are leading that. We're going to have to hire some mercenaries, aren't we? We have a little bit of money, but not a huge amount of money. We are in a bit of a pickle. The Maiden's Men. Yes, we'll hire the Maiden's Men. 2,200 men. Have we got any other men that we can call upon? No. We are in a bit of a pickle here. Because the Muds have decided to get involved, even though they're not directly involved, which is the annoying thing. At the age of 48, your equator Lord Bedesver of the Dreadfort was killed in personal combat in the midst of battle by Sir Davos of Sevenstar. Well played, Sir Davos. So who's his heir now? A young boy, Lord Theon of the Dreadfort. Well played, Davos. Well played indeed. You've slayed the Bolton Lord. But we have lost that battle, unfortunately. And that's the third... I think that's the first battle we have actually managed to lose against the Starks. In all the times that we've been in the north. What, 50-odd years? That is the first time we've lost a battle against the Starks. Luckily, we didn't lose a great amount of men. So that's okay. The mercenaries should restock what we lost. Which isn't too bad. We have got a little bit cautious now against the Starks. There we go, 12,000. Just because of the flipping Muds that have got involved. Right, we should have better commanders than that. Davos, Damien, Owen. Let's get Owen out there. Edward and We'll leave Davos considering he just slayed that Lord. It's good to keep him involved. Very worried about that. That's Stark host now though. Very worried indeed. We may need to wait and finish this war in the next episode anyway, guys, which I think we will do. So thank you all so much for watching. As always, I really hope that you enjoyed. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and comment down below. Let me know what you do think of the series, and hopefully I'll see you all very soon for the next episode of the Knights of the North.